After doing my social realism genre research for the trailers, I found that there's a lot of things that can be achieved. Uh, the making people seem vulnerable in situations, that's a large part of social realism, the trailers. So if you had a medium shot with downwards tilt, uh, with central alignment, that's used a lot, and right alignment and stuff like that. Just the little techniques to make people in cinematography to make people look weak and vulnerable in the situation. The conventions are a large part of the trailers. There's always an underlining theme per film. So in Tyrannosaur it was domestic violence. In Trainspotting it was drug abuse. Um, so in mine I'm gonna have to think of a current social thing. Uh, I might do like youth culture and I want to do the coming of age. So it'd be like growing up, the coming of age, which would be a theme in itself. I think just growing up and trying to survive as a teenager trying to grow up into the normal world, but dealing with things such as loneliness and like he's been alienated by by everyone else, and just finding that one person not that can help him through it and better himself personally. So it's current social things which are going on. A lot of things that can be done. Direct imagery of like drug abuse and violence, because obviously that's not allowed in the course in this project, and it'd be very hard to film. And so what you could do is you could do if an argument escalates in a trailer, you could then do a shot from outside the house where the argument is, and then use sound to like fight or use the sound to intensify the violence, and not actually show it directly, and just shots of props which could be used in a violent situation, but not directly showing them in a violent situation would achieve the darkness of a social realism trailer, and also you know basically do its job and get the idea of the conventions and the themes across. The use of sound is very important in social realism films. One thing that can't be done was the use of Trainspotting. There was a use of a song by Iggy Pop, which was based, like as showed in the Presley, it was based on him being a heroin addict. You can't use for the project. You can't use other people's music, so you have to make your own. So maybe I'd take something from like Tyrannosaur, where there's like heightened music, which makes it sound more dramatic. It can be done on like on a Mac, on GarageBand. So it'd be my own work. Uh, the thing about Tyrannosaur I like about the trailer is that it intercuts normal life with images of like the domestic abuse and the violence. So one scene could be them walking along, the next scene could be like him crying dramatically and stuff like that. So it all gets darker and darker. It goes along, and it's really effective and emotionally effective. And that would be easy to achieve if you did like a scene of an everyday situation, then cut it to someone in like looking vulnerable and stuff, and that was dragged on. That technique was used. The good thing about the Trainspotting trailer is that it's got a lot of structure to it. It's got it introduces you to each main character, and in between that, the narrative, the monologue drags the trailer on. So it's all interlinked. A good thing to use would be the monologue, because the monologue is a good effective technique, because it helps uh, hook the reader throughout whilst showing them shots of what is to come in the film. So you could talk about you could say one thing and that could link to a variety of scenes, and it'd just go through the whole trailer. And another thing of social realism films, and I think all trailers in general, is that there's a lot of there's a lot of scenes, but they're short rather than a short amount of scenes which are long. So in the train spotting trailer, there's 20 locations, so there's gonna need to be short, meaningful footage, uh, lots of it. So, another thing for social realism is the locations are very important because since it's realistic, the environments need to be realistic. So it's just a normal house setting, but there's been so much thought going into it. For example, there's the kitchen scene in the Tyrannosaur trailer, where the kitchen is like, it's a like it's a poverty street. It's like a council house kitchen, a council flat kitchen. Obviously, it's not going to be top range, and that's the sort of imagery I need to get. I need to get like dark, gritty scenes which represent poverty in Britain and life in Britain. So what I've done is I've gone and done some location research after watching these trailers, and I watched both of the films as well. Again, I would watch both of the films to come to terms with it, and so I could really analyse it properly. And I've been out and I've taken some pictures of locations, and there's a around the corner is there's this industrial estate, but there's a wooded area near it as well, and it's quite overgrown and like it's quite good actually because I could use it to create imagery. So where nature meets like an urban setting, I could use that to represent something in my film, in my trailer. So like a conflict between people, subcultures, or just in society, just conflict and uncertainty. It could be, it could really be used to my advantage. And I'll post the pictures in, stuff like that. But what will be hard is the indoor locations, because I won't be able to find an indoor location which looks very poverty stricken. So that's going to be hard. So I could try and make what indoor locations I've got. I could try and do what I can to make them look as bare as possible and as poverty stricken as possible. In terms of what I can do in my trailer, is I can use the cinematography to my advantage. Using social realism films, it's normal, everyday life and situations, and shots of like terraces and streets and rough areas and stuff like that, which can be done. So just someone walking down a rough area, 2 second shot of them walking away. In Trainspotting there's a lot of tracking shots. That could easily be achieved. It's just the locations and stuff that can be achieved. What can't be achieved is the direct. It's going to be hard for me to get across the key conventions without actually showing abuse or drug abuse. So it's going to be a hard task, but I think it can be done through the use of like cinematography and like switching to from, say there's a violent scene going down, it's just about to kick off, and then you switch the scene to the outside of the house, and then the noise helps it from the sound effects and stuff. So that can be done. So yeah, my idea still stands. It's the concept of coming of age. Because I like the film Submarine, but that's more of a drama and a love film. But I'd like to vamp it up to make it the whole concept of the coming of age thing. I'm not taking the film ideas. I'm just stepping it up and be like, it's a come of age, but it's going to be darker, more grittier, and less about love, more about survival. Is someone growing up in, Britain, working class Britain in the north, and a lot of the shots in social realism films, it's dark and gritty, and like the shots are dark, the weather's bad. It's always like raining and stuff. And hopefully when we actually start filming this, it'll be going on to the winter time when we start doing it, and I can really use the weather and the natural surroundings to my advantage. It's probably better than so the weather's more tailored and the locations are all tailored to doing a social realism film. So if I was doing a comedy or something like that, it'd have to be sunny and jolly and happy. Whereas I can easily just go around the corner with a camera, do some shots of the industrial estate in the rain, and just make it as symbolic as possible. So hopefully that will work. You know, it's just the hardest thing is making things seem realistic. It's not the acting, which is a big thing in our project, but the whole the shots and stuff, like just everyday things happening, like bikes going past and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm gonna have to hopefully try and set it up. It'll be actually quite fun to experiment with and see if my friends would get involved and stuff like that, and the actors. But yeah, as it stands, that's my idea. The coming of age. So at this point, I'm fully aware of what a social realism film needs in its trailer. I understand that I'm gonna have to get those key conventions across, but being as creative as possible because I can't use the violence and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a hard task, but I can get it done. And I think the trailer analysis has really helped me, push me in the right direction because I now know the structure of an average trailer, and I understand that they've got, they do have structure to them, and it's getting that structure, nailing the structure, but also making sure that I achieve the content of a social realism film. So that's my challenge from now on, really. Next step is to find the do the print analysis, which I'll be doing next.